In heartful communication training, we suggest that instead of getting furious, often we get furious when we are responding. Let us try to become more curious instead. Furiousness versus curiousness. Namaste and welcome back. Today, let's go deeper into this essential aspect of heartful communication, especially listening. I would like to talk about how we can develop empathy and be able to bring this loving approach into our listening, even in the most difficult situations. When we are quite inside, centered in our heart, able to retain our meditative condition, we can more easily be fully present. Plus, we gradually develop poise, and this enables us to be in the midst of all kinds of turbulence without being thrown off balance. Poise is an interesting word and a condition. If you look it up in dictionaries, you will see some associated words like equilibrium, steadiness, presence, and grace. Graceful means full of grace. Poise can be like that soft radiance emanating from the absolute, from the source. Also, use those 5 minutes in reinforcing this idea that everything surrounding me is absorbed in godly remembrance. That will also shift your inner condition, you see. It will make you even more soft and centered and poised. When we develop a habit of becoming quiet and listening attentively, we realize that this listening is a golden key in arguments or conflict. Listening is a golden key in any argument or any conflict situation. It can diffuse an angry situation remarkably, rather very quickly. Anger simply tells us that there is something that really matters to that person. In other words, that they have needs, and those needs are probably not being fulfilled. And that's how they express unfulfilled expectations. So, in the face of anger, it is helpful to take a pause. By intentionally creating this space, we give ourselves the possibility of responding in a choiceful way. Instead of having a knee-jerk reaction and you just react and shout and scream. Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor, wrote in his book, Man's Search for Meaning. It's a brilliant book. I quote, "There is a space between the stimulus and the response. In this space, we have the choice of our response, and in this choice lies our evolution and our freedom." Freedom from unhelpful, habitual ways of interacting. We may not be able to control events, but what we can control is how we respond to them. Meditation, it helps us. It helps us to develop alertness, to become more aware, to become more sensitive, to be able to make this space between the trigger that is coming from outside and the response that comes from within. In heartful communication training, we suggest that instead of getting furious, often we get furious when we are responding. Let us try to become more curious instead. You will enjoy this furiousness versus curiousness state of mind. We can be curious, interested in what unfulfilled needs might be there in the other person. That's the main cause of anger or criticism. So you see, empathy first, solution last, and it will emerge. We humans are actually wired for empathy, for connection. In our brains are what's called mirror neurons that fire when we see or hear someone going through a particular experience. And this enables us to feel the person, identify with the person. If you like to venture into the deeper meanings of these mirror neurons, I wish you Google. You'll really appreciate the value of understanding mirror neurons. Without empathy, communication would be mechanical and superficial. Our hearts would be left out in the cold, so to say. It's really important to remember that empathy does not mean agreement. Let me repeat. Empathy is not agreement. We can empathize with someone with whom we disagree or whose behavior we don't enjoy. It's one of the reasons why parents find it hard to empathize with their children because they imagine that showing child that they understand her or him when the child is doing something they don't like is like agreeing with them or that you are okay if they continue doing wrong. No, it's not. If the child feels they are being understood for their feelings and needs first, you have a much better chance of finding ways how to move forward together and maintaining boundaries or guiding them towards inculcating good moral values.